And for our main event, David Diaz against Manny Pacquiao. Diaz is the champion, but a sizable underdog here tonight against Pacquiao, who enters the ring looking for a title belt in a fourth different weight class. Pacquiao is also hopeful of putting together the kind of performance that will stake his claim to the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, a position left vacant by the retirement of Floyd Mayweather. David Diaz versus Manny Pacquiao is being brought to you by Mandalay Bay, boxing at its best, Tecate beer, cerveza with an attitude, and by HBO Pay-Per-View, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. Much has been made about Manny Pacquiao's foray into the lightweight division. Tonight, he challenges for a title belt in his very first outing at the 135-pound weight limit. Pacquiao, who fought his pro debut at 106 pounds, has established himself over the years as one of the best and most entertaining fighters in the sport. A 14-year spectacular career continues tonight against David Diaz. Diaz, meanwhile, will be making his second defense of the 135-pound title he solidified last summer in his fight with Mexican legend Eric Morales. Diaz hopes Pacquiao is looking past him to a much-talked-about potential third fight with Juan Manuel Marquez or a matchup with Ricky Hatton. And the former U.S. Olympian is intent on proving he belongs among the sport's elite competitors by spoiling Pacquiao's 135-pound debut. Welcome back. It's a continuation of what has become, over the years, one of the great spectacles in boxing, the Manny Pacquiao Show. He is arguably the most exciting fighter in the sport. He's also now arguably #1 pound for pound in the wake of the retirement of Floyd Mayweather. And he tries to make a statement in his competition with Joe Calzaghe, the 168 and 75-pound champion, in their battle for that status tonight. Working with me again, HBO's World Championship boxing expert commentator, the legendary trainer and manager Emmanuel Stewart. Everybody knows, Emmanuel, what Pacquiao's advantages are in speed and power against David Diaz. What's the downside? What is there for Pacquiao to worry about tonight against the former U.S. Olympian?
What he's got to worry about is the fact that Diaz fights and looks like a fighter from the 50s. He's almost like a left-handed Jake LaMotta type fighter. Nothing looks fancy about him, but he pushes you. And when Pacquiao likes to have his little bounce around, regroup, reorganize time before he explodes, Diaz may push him. It may not look good, but mauling and pushing him backwards and not letting him have his rest time and trying to be very physical. And Pacquiao may have a problem with that. The rest of the fighters he fought were trying to box him. They counter-punched him. They did very well with that. And they fought him when they had to, but nobody's really been an aggressive fighter that really pushed him around and was physical with him.
One more point, Emmanuel. There are fighters who might get discouraged losing fights, or losing rounds, I should say, against a flame of pure fire like Manny Pacquiao. But David Diaz is quite accustomed to losing rounds and still believing he can win the fight.
As I said, he fights like the old-time fighters. He believes in himself. He loves a fight. He's the type of guy that doesn't look that impressive. And he seems, even this whole atmosphere, this is a Manny Pacquiao show here tonight, really. But nevertheless, it doesn't bother him. He said himself, if he was at home, him and his wife Tanya would be watching Pacquiao because he's a big Pacquiao fan. But he's going to get a better look at him tonight right there in the ring. But he's the type of guy that knows where he is, knows who's the favorite, who's the star, but it doesn't bother him. He feels this is his time.
All right, let's go to Michael Buffer to begin the pageantry in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like everyone to please rise as we honor two nations and their champions before they step into the ring with their national anthems. Here to perform the national anthem of the Philippines, please welcome to ring center the lovely and talented Nicole Angela.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit Kahit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin na taraw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walang tigpagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mang-aapi, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we welcome to ring center, here to sing the national anthem of the United States of America, Ms. Jasmine Villegas.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The crowd chants for their man. Tail of the tape for David Diaz against Manny Pacquiao, and you see the 3-year age advantage for the Filipino star. A half-inch in height, 3.5 inches in arm length, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They weighed in within a half pound of the 135-pound limit, and tonight David Diaz has rehydrated up to 148. Manny Pacquiao as 147, so unofficially they enter the ring as welterweights after having weighed in at the lightweight limit. And it's one of those nights you wonder if the business which has been chosen here is in fact going to pan out. Already you've had 3 unusual events. The draw between Santiago and Loevano in a fight in which Loevano was heavily favored to win. Ty Fields, a big favorite over Monty Barrett, gets crushed in less than a minute on knockout punches from Barrett. And then a huge favorite, Humberto Soto, gets disqualified. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The David Diaz-Manny Pacquiao fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case it caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And here comes Manny Pacquiao, walking first because he's fighting for David Diaz's lightweight belt. And Emmanuel Stewart, for months, it has appeared clear that Pacquiao's promoters were targeting David Diaz's belt as the easy one to get, to cherry pick a belt in the lightweight division and set Pacquiao up for business here. It is reported that Pacquiao's promoter, Bob Arum, has been talking to another promoter, Golden Boy, about the possibility of a third fight against Juan Manuel Marquez. Pacquiao's own trainer, Freddie Roach, has openly, publicly said, I want to see him fight Ricky Hatton next at 140 pounds. You have to wonder if they've paid enough attention to the fact that they have to fight David Diaz.
I think that's a good point. And also what's even more concerning to me is the effect it may have been on Pacquiao himself, because he's been in all of these big fights here in Las Vegas, and he was always fighting a big superstar Mexican fighter. And this is the first fight that I know where he's fighting just as a plain fight, even though he's a Mexican descent. It's more of a fighter from Chicago, and he doesn't have all of that excitement, the animosity that he used to have when he was coming in the ring against guys like Barrera, Morales, and Marquez. And maybe he may be a little down emotionally and overlooking Diaz himself.
On the other hand, after years of rumors that Pacquiao was distracted by his rock star life in the Philippines, his associations outside the ring, it is widely reported that he's more serious than ever, that he trained better than ever, that there's no more beer and barbecue and movie star hangouts as was the case before. Maybe that will show up in a great performance.
Well, we will know pretty soon. And also, if Diaz can take his punch, meaning Pacquiao's punch, and can apply pressure on him, it's going to be very interesting to see how this fight folds as it goes into later rounds, if it gets to that.
12 years ago, everybody was speculating on how Zab Judah would do at the Olympic Games, and would he win a gold medal when he went to Atlanta as a United States Olympian. But Fernando Vargas, who's behind David Diaz's shoulder to the left, found as his teammate on that Olympic team, not Zab Judah, but David Diaz, who twice in 8 days beat the vastly more gifted Judah. Last year, he beat the vastly more gifted Eric Morales. David Diaz is no stranger to the big upset.
That's right. As a matter of fact, the big stars in the 96 Olympics were Fernando Vargas, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Zab Judah. They was like guaranteed no miss, can't miss type guys. And all of a sudden, you realize that Zab had been beaten. You never hear too much about who beat him, just Zab Judah lost. And he lost again to the same guy. And he didn't get any notoriety compared to the other guys, but always winning fights in a quiet manner.
When he first got a piece of the chance at this title 2 summers ago in Chicago, he was fighting a fighter named Armando Santa Cruz. By our lights, Santa Cruz won the first 9 rounds of the fight. Then Diaz caught him with an uppercut, suddenly turned the fight around and knocked Santa Cruz out. He is a young man of extraordinary grit and determination. Does he have the talent Manny Pacquiao does? No one does in this weight class.
No, you know, he doesn't have the speed, neither of the other 3 great Mexican fighters that he's fought before. Marquez had better hand speed, as well as Barrera and Morales. But he's consistent, and he's a pressure fighter in a slow manner, though. And he's going to have to be able to take a punch from Pacquiao. As he said, speed doesn't bother him. He's used to fighting fast fighters. But punching power is something he said he may have to make an adjustment if he gets hurt.
Diaz says it's the Cubs year. They're going to win the World Series. Everything else is pointing Chicago's way. I'm not going to get in the way of any of that. I'm going to uphold the pattern of success. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino of Las Vegas, Nevada, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated and MP Promotions proudly presents the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. Brought to you in association with HBO Pay-Per-View and sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza with Attitude and Affliction. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Bailey, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, WBC President Jose Suleiman, WBC Supervisor at ringside, Senator General Covid of Thailand. At ringside, the 3 judges, should this bout go the distance, scoring the contest are Gary Merritt, C.J. Ross, and Paul Smith. And inside the ring, working for the 33rd time in a world title bout, referee Vic Draculich. And now, for the thousands in attendance, and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with red, officially weighing 134.5 pounds. His professional record, 46 victories, including 34 knockouts, with 3 defeats and 2 bouts even. From General Santos City, Philippines, the challenger, 3-time world champion, the current WBC super featherweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with red and green, official weight 135 pounds, an outstanding professional record. This 1996 Olympian now has 34 victories, including 70 knockouts, with only 1 defeat and 1 draw. From the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, presenting the reigning, defending WBC lightweight champion of the world, Dangerous David
All right, gentlemen, this is for the WBC lightweight title. You've received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution, any punch below this point is going to be called low. Any punch below this point are going to be called low. That said, I want you to obey my commands, protect yourselves all times. Touch them up now. Good luck to both of you. Good luck. Okay, good luck.
Clearly in the hearts of fans who love exciting boxing, Manny Pacquiao is #1 in the world. But his last couple of performances have shown the beginnings of some possible deterioration. Is he #1 pound for pound? He'll try to make a statement here. Emmanuel Stewart, if I were David Diaz, I would enter round 1 looking to ask Manny Pacquiao one significant question. Did you train to take body punches? Are you ready to get hit in the gut?
Well, I think that's what he should do, too. But, you know, looking at Manny, to me, I'm just amazed that this guy's fighting that for his 4th different weight division championship. And look at his body. I mean, usually when a smaller guy moves up through the division, you see a lot of fat or something like Duran. He looks perfect. Looked like he was born to be a lightweight.
A spectacular athlete from beginning to this point of his career. Never once has he looked out of place in any weight class in which he's fought. The body just keeps getting better and better. And already Diaz begins to hit him in the body with the punches that are aimed at asking how well Pacquiao is trained. And already Pacquiao shows the speed advantage that makes him so special.
But I look what Pacquiao sees, the tight defense of Diaz was covering up him on the top, but he's trying to find a way to come up between the gloves. But took the signal with his left uppercut. See, he's just trying to right there, because he's very smart. He realizes that it's not going to be that easy to hit him to the head on top at the beginning.
David Diaz is a fast lightweight, but he's a strong lightweight. He's not easy to put away in a cold breeze, and Pacquiao can't expect for anything to happen quickly here.
Pacquiao's is boxing tonight.
Terrific combinations by Pacquiao. Many of the punches being blocked, however, by Diaz's gloves.
Yeah, but Pacquiao's boxing, using his footwork, his movement, is a lot different than I've ever saw him fight before. For the first time, he's got somebody that he's faster than.
And you hear the adoration of the crowd. In reference to what he knew the crowd would be, Diaz said, in our Mexican heritage, we have a statement, pocos pero locas. In other words, we may be smaller, but we're crazy enough to make our presence felt. Uppercut by Pacquiao, mixing his punches brilliantly. Catches Diaz with a left hand. Diaz blocking ardently with his gloves, but on the defensive before he finally breaks out with another attempted body shot.
Diaz is doing a pretty good job defensive, but he can't do too much offensive simply because he's not fast enough yet. Until Pacquiao slows down, it's going to be hard for him to do anything offensive.
And a smile and a nod from David Diaz to Pacquiao as if to say, yeah, I get it. I understand why you're so great.
Deep breath. Good boy. Okay. Deep breath. Here you go. Okay, Manny. Don't let him rough you up on the inside. Okay, I want you to use your feet and get out of there. All right, you
stiff, straight jab.
Right.
You got to jab your way in. That's a stiff jab, not a flinging jab. Right. All right, and then you're ready to work.
Okay.
That's the most important thing to look at right now. Just relax.
Relax. I'm ready.
Listen, relax. Stiff jab. Relax.
Diaz's trainer, Jimmy Strickland, is one of the true veteran cornermen in the sport. A cut man, a chief second, a guy who'll carry the spit bucket. Strickland has said, if David could beat Manny Pacquiao, I might retire. Diaz says, no way, I'm not gonna let him. And you heard Freddie Roach very pleased with the way his fighter fought round one. CompuBox numbers, Pacquiao 19 out of 91, Diaz only 9 out of 43. Again, the uppercut with a left hand from Pacquiao. Again, a body shot from Diaz. Momentarily drives Manny back. Hand speed advantage tremendously in Pacquiao's favor.
Yeah, Pacquiao's doing a beautiful job of boxing. He's putting his combinations together, getting in and out.
Good left hand by Diaz. Caught Pacquiao right between punches. Lands a left hand on the chin again. This one a more glancing blow. Pacquiao with a big left hand lead over the top. And another uppercut.
But he has not been landing. Those punches are not landing. Diaz is catching the punches for the most part.
Doing a good job with his tight guard. David Diaz. All those punches are blocked. And those.
And there he is.
David is willing to weather the storm, looking for his few chances here and there.
Yeah, Pacquiao's throwing a lot of punches, but I haven't saw that much land, you know, and I don't know if he's going to keep up this pace, because normally he moves around, as I said, rests, and then explodes. But he's consistently boxing this fight, which is good. But I don't know if he can keep that up all throughout the whole fight.
Pacquiao trying to thrash Diaz with speed. Catches him with a right and a left there. Crowd looking for him to land something big, and Diaz didn't manage to block the right hand. Big left over the top by Pacquiao, big left over the top by Diaz. Blood coming from the right eye of David Diaz. Already Pacquiao has brought blood from Diaz. 40 seconds still to go in a wildly active round two. Straight right hand lands for Diaz. Pacquiao lands his right hook.
Jim Strickland, the manager of Diaz, normally works in most fights as a cut man, so he'll get a chance to practice on his own fighter at the end of this round.
Is he a good one, Emmanuel?
It's a good cut man. One of the best in the business.
So Strickland will go to work on Diaz. The cut is right on the bridge of his nose.
Okay, why ain't he jabbing?
I don't know.
Say you're making a hard piece up here. Line up.
Jimmy's cut up here, Jim.
In the head,
It's up here.
I'm not going to worry about
That
that.
double jab.
That's a little bit of hair on his nose.
Hey, I want
All
you
right.
to crouch. Don't take them shit.
All right.
Leave.
All right, let me
Blow that cut on the nose due to a punch.
All right. Listen, the biggest problem is you're not throwing a nice power jab, and as a result, he's landing his big left hand over the top, right? Now, you've got to step in behind a good, stiff power jab.
Right.
And once you're in, you can't stand up straight or back out.
Okay.
You've got to keep your head in his chest.
All right.
And you'll weaken.
Here we see Pacquiao do something that's very unusual, beautiful combination. Right uppercut, being followed by right uppercut up between the gloves. That may could have possibly caused the cut on the nose.
Well, you've done cuts, Emmanuel. Tell us about the difficulty of a cut right on the bridge of the nose.
Bridge of the nose is very difficult. It's not serious. It doesn't bleed too much. You know, your adrenaline chloride and thrombin and the regular stuff would usually get it to coagulate. It doesn't bleed too much.
Even though there was no knockdown, Harold Letterman scored the second round, a 10-8 round for Pacquiao, who had a landslide in power punches, landing 34 of 83 to only 7 of 25 for Diaz. A wildly active Pacquiao threw 114 punches in the second round. David Diaz won't just go away.
Pacquiao's speed is just right at this stage, just too much, and that's the big difference in the fight. Not only is he boxing, but he's doing a variety of things. He's jabbing, he's doing right hooks, right uppercuts, left hands over top. He's doing so many different things.
He looks spectacular, and he's doing it against a southpaw after not having fought one for years. Big right hook by Pacquiao. Another big right hook right on the button by Pacquiao. David Diaz has a stern chin, and he's taking these punches pretty well.
Well, it's going to be put to the test tonight, but Pacquiao's hitting him with punches. I mean, consistently with both hands. David's speed is just too low right now. He cannot.
What David needs to do is to go plant his head on Manny Pacquiao's chest and not move away.
Yeah, but he's just too slow.
Two good body shots for Diaz. And a third for good measure. Pacquiao again with that right hook, right uppercut combination. Tremendous work with the right hand by Pacquiao. Hooking and uppercutting just the same way we saw Andre Berto do it with his backhand last week. Pacquiao's doing it with his lead hand. The speed and skill of Manny Pacquiao is amazing to behold.
It's interesting to see him throwing a right hook and all these type of punches that he normally can't throw on the standard right-hand fighter. So he's fighting a left-hand fighter, so he can do everything.
Well, remember when Pacquiao was great, even as a totally predictable jab, left-hand fighter? Now he's added all this variety to his game, and still with the same physical talent. The courage of David Diaz is one of the key measures to making the fight watchable so far. He's too brave to just go away amid the onslaught from Pacquiao. Diaz mostly blocking that right hook. Pacquiao gets to his body. Just missed with what would have been a big left-hand connect, did Pacquiao. Two body shots from Diaz, and a third one as the round comes to a close. Manny Pacquiao's won all these rounds, but Diaz is sneaking in a body shot here and there.
Sit down.
Fourth round coming up, number 4.
Okay.
Keep your arms down.
Vaseline.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Manny, nice job. That's the way to use that right hand. Okay, now let's put that hooks to the head's working real well for you. Look at me.
Pay attention,
Manny, pay attention. Now the hook to the head, then back to the body. Okay? Let's concentrate a little.
Yeah. You see right here, you see Pacquiao throwing his right hook, something that he can't normally do when he's fighting the standard right-handed fighter, and he seems to love it. That's been his pet punch so far most of the fight. I was watching him. He's looking past Freddie Roach, who was giving instructions, looking at the replay in the arena.
Admiring his work.
Yeah.
Brings a whole new meaning to the old boxing phrase, admiring your work.
You know, normally as a fighter, Pacquiao's known for that powerful straight left. You know, jab with his right hand, a hard straight left. And he's changing up. He's got a guy that he can do everything with now because it's a right, another left hand, and he's doing it too.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Look at you, 3 rounds to nothing. 30-26, Manny Pacquiao. Jim, I can't remember a southpaw who can throw 4 or 5 right hands before he pulls his right hand back. Incredible. He throws a hook, a jab, an uppercut, and finally he'll pull his right hand back. It's amazing. I mean, Roy Jones used to do it with the left hand, but this kid is amazing with that right hand. 3-0 Pacquiao. Give him an extra point in round 2 where he hit Diaz with everything but the stool and the referee.
The early evidence on Pacquiao moving up to lightweight. Gee, maybe he's finally found a weight class where he can be really good.
and he seems to be enjoying it. I think he needs to fight more southpaws, so he enjoys it.
And Vic Draculich calls a halt to the action so that David Diaz's nose cut can be examined.
And I think it's eye cut now. It's a little bit more serious.
This was one of the possibilities, and because of his blinding speed and major advantages when at distance, Pacquiao would be able to cut Diaz up. And Diaz's only response is to get more aggressive and try to do more damage, and that's what he's trying to do, leaving himself open for Pacquiao's assaults.
Speed is just too much, and the fact that Pacquiao's doing everything and moving and twisting and pivoting and turning all while he's punching.
A southpaw Jack Dempsey in the lightweight division. A non-stop aggressor with speed and power beyond compare.
Just the whole body rhythm and coordination of Diaz is just too slow.
And a cut now above the right eye of Diaz, as you said, Emmanuel. So he's bleeding from the nose, and he's bleeding from above the right eye, and he's getting hit flush with a lot of Pacquiao shots. No matter how hard Diaz works to cover up against these onslaughts, Manny Pacquiao is simply too fast and too good. Perfect shot by Pacquiao. Diaz shakes his head as if to say to the referee, I'm okay. I know I just got hit with a howitzer, but I'm still here. They throw at the same time. The difference in hand speed is so evident.
Unbelievable. The hand speed as well as the foot speed right there. Diaz, not only the hand speed, but he just can't deal with all the twisting and pivoting that that Pacquiao's putting into the fight also.
Diaz's left eye is beginning to swell. We're told that the cut to the right eye was caused by a headbutt. So we'll take a look at it between rounds.
Let me see. Hey, your last 30 seconds, you did what you're supposed to do. Once you get in close, you got to get your head under his chest and keep moving forward. You've got to get your head under his chest and keep moving forward. Your last 30 seconds, you did that. You won't get hit half as much then, but you're standing up.
Here we see what possibly could have been the cause of the butt, which was a headbutt right there.
Well, that created the big cut over the right eye. But it's a moot point whether the cut is created by a butt or a punch at this point because of the violent onslaughts that Pacquiao is mounting in every round. Power shots through the 4th round. Diaz has landed 30 out of 141. Pacquiao has landed 80 of 255. He's averaging 64 power punches thrown per round. There's no way you're going to beat him if he's getting off that many shots. It is a brilliant and stunningly effective performance by Pacquiao so far.
And Diaz is getting seriously behind because, being that he's not a devastating one-punch knockout fighter, once you get behind on points like this, it's going to be very, very hard for him to pull this fight out. Because Pacquiao is just a little too fast, a little too sharp, and steadily moving and twisting and turning, punching, going in and out. And Diaz just, in his footwork, he's just too clumsy and slow and stiff.
2 good body shots there by the determined and gutty David Diaz. Keeps demonstrating that as far as attitude is concerned, he won't take no for an answer. Hard right hand by Pacquiao. Uppercut stuns Diaz again. Pacquiao's ability to put his punches together with blinding speed is amazing. with hooks, crosses, and uppercuts. Pacquiao more or less dispensing with the jab because he doesn't really need to set anything up.
No, he doesn't. He just really pretty much just having target practice right now for the most part.
Left hand pot shot across the top. Two quick right hands inside. Another uppercut. And Diaz, in the face of all that, comes forward. The bloody mask speaks for itself.
It's very interesting. After Pacquiao's always been known as the puncher, now to see him being a really technical, crafty, all-around boxer fighter is really a thing of beauty, because I never expected him to look this good from his boxing in this fight, even though I thought he would move more than not to do the things that he's doing.
And incidentally, in case you're really paying attention to Manny Pacquiao for the first time and you're looking at the possible fights ahead, how good is Juan Manuel Marquez of Mexico? Well, consider this. In 2 fights against Pacquiao, Marquez has won more rounds than Pacquiao has won. That's how good he is. If it weren't for the 4 knockdowns that Pacquiao has applied to Marquez, Marquez would have won both fights. Now Diaz gets a couple of answers in there. What guts! What determination by David Diaz! Hard left hand by Diaz momentarily stops the Pacquiao assault. Stars and stripes are bloody, but unbound.
Let the doctor have it. You're doing better that round, but you're not staying low enough. And when you're in, you're not punching up. Right. You're punching round, hitting the arms and the elbows, right? Right. Lay over this way a little bit. Where you need. So stay lower. Try to punch in tighter, not wide. And if once you're in, you keep pressing his chest with your head, he's going to back up, and he won't punch near as much on his heels, right? Then you'll be able to punch.
Deep breath. Come on, son. Take a deep breath.
Good boy. When he's going under, lift him up.
Power shots in round 5. Diaz 7 out of 45. Manny Pacquiao 27 out of 56. Emmanuel Stewart, the layman, not all that familiar with boxing, would look at Diaz's face and say, how can he be allowed to continue under these circumstances?
Yeah, because he is a world champion, and they do stop it between rounds, but I'm a little bit kind of disappointed. I thought that it would have coagulated a lot better than it has at this stage, but it seems as soon as the bell rings, he goes out, he starts bleeding as if they didn't put anything on it.
Well, Jim Strickland's got a lot on his hands, trying to stop 2 bad cuts and try to talk his fighter through the fight at the same time.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. You know, well, normally when he's just a cut man, it's different because he concentrates entirely on the cut, but he's trying to talk all the way through the fight. I think Jim is actually a pharmacist by trade, too.
Action slows momentarily in round 6. They trade jabs in the center of the ring. Again, the dramatic hand speed advantage for Pacquiao, quite visible. Despite everything he's taken, David Diaz still willing to lunge forward, looking to land 1 shot. He's not exactly a power puncher either.
Watch ahead, watch ahead. Let's go.
No way Diaz will quit. He's totally willing to go out on his shield. So that puts pressure on the referee and medical authorities to be sure that they protect him in the right way.
Because you can see Pacquiao is really concentrating on dropping those shots right on that eye to it. He's landed a tremendous left cross right on the eye, and he's seems like loading up trying to let power punches now.
Pacquiao's not a sadist. He's a sportsman at heart, but he will do what has to be done which is to continue to go after the damage he's already done to David Diaz. Diaz has to be earning the respect of the crowd as he continues to fire resolutely in round 6. And the Pacquiao storm once again continues. A tsunami, a hurricane, a tornado. Incomparable ring violence for this era in boxing.
The cut seems to be a big factor in this. You know, actually,
Ring doctor says he's okay. I'm sure that Diaz would agree. When he beat Eric Morales last year, he did it with his right eye swollen up like a tennis ball, completely shut.
but one eye is swelling and the other one is bleeding, and they haven't seemingly stopped the flow of blood. And as soon as the bell rings, it starts bleeding right away again. And it's a big factor in this fight.
Halfway through, they touch gloves in sportsmanlike appreciation for each other.
Here. The closer you get, the more effective you'll be. You still got to throw shorter punches and then fight.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute, let that go now, right now. Let me get here. I got to stop this cut.
It's not his punches, he's just too fast.
Right. Here. Yeah, man.
David, you gotta get on those punches, buddy. I know. Okay, let's do it now. All right.
Here we see Pacquiao throwing punches in such a volume, and they're all coming from different angles. He's mixing up, and that's why it's so hard for Diaz to stop the punches, because he's not just throwing one punch or two. It's just the speed and the variety of punches is just too much for him.
Well, a perfect line of expert commentary there between rounds by Diaz. Whoa, I can handle his punches. He's just too fast. That's the story of what's happened so far. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
That makes it 6-0, 60-53, Manny Pacquiao. Maybe I'm being a little bit more generous than I should be. I think there's a lot more 10-8 rounds mixed in there somewhere. But here's a major, I got to point this out. He's cut over the right eye. Initially, that cut was caused by an accidental headbutt. If this fight gets stopped, that cut is being made worse by legal blows. If the fight gets stopped, because we're beyond the 4th round, they'll go to the scorecards to determine the winner. But certainly, Pacquiao is way ahead on the scorecards.
Normally we look at Pacquiao as such a power puncher. Now he's a crafty technical boxer in this fight.
And let me just reinterpret what Harold said. What you're saying, Harold, is that he can't win the fight strictly because of that cut, because he didn't cause it with a punch.
It'll go to the scorecards and it'll win. He can't win it on a TKO.
That's correct.
Whichever way it goes, he's going to win this fight unless they end up with another disqualification.
Look at the combinations.
Right. Watch your hold. Watch your hold.
To the degree that boxing can be a demonstration of supreme violence mixed with artistic brilliance, that's what Manny Pacquiao is providing tonight. David Diaz keeps plugging away. He wasn't as fast as Zab Judah in 1996 either, but he somehow got that done. He wasn't as fast as Armando Santa Cruz 2 summers ago in Chicago, but he somehow got that done. His career will never be compared with that of the great Eric Morales, but he somehow got that done. So don't tell David Diaz he doesn't have a chance.
Watch over, no holding.
He doesn't believe you.
Break. Watch your holding.
And incidentally, lest you think that Pacquiao may have no other talents besides what he shows you in the ring, he's currently enrolled in college courses back in the Philippines. When he goes to class to sit in a college classroom, 5 armed bodyguards have to wait outside the building.
Plus, he says when even in class, he spends more time signing autographs than he does doing homework or studying.
The teachers, like the students, scream and shout when he comes into the room and asks to have their picture taken with him.
Hey, when you're in close, your left hook is open for you to the body.
Okay.
But you don't want to throw anything wide, like I told you, all right? You've got to try to keep your head below his.
Right.
And once you're inside, you got to push him back with your head.
Okay. Go around with him.
Feint him, he goes under. Feint him and look to the uppercut. All right? When you feint him, just like in the gym.
Take a deep breath. Okay, timing. Huwag magbuhos. Timing tayo, okay? Timing. Huwag magmadali.
Don't get tangled up in the inside with him.
Ang depensa, balik
Use your feet.
depensa, okay?
The way for a slower fighter to deal with speed is to try to interrupt the action and make the faster fighter fight when he doesn't want to. There hasn't been a moment in this fight when Manny Pacquiao didn't want to assault David Diaz. So it's very difficult for Diaz to find any moment at which to make a statement. He's gotten in some body punches, but mostly he's taken big shots.
As he said, when he told Strickland about 2 rounds back, he just can't handle the speed. And I think that's a good way to sum it up. There's too much of speed.
Well, we wondered if Pacquiao would look any slower at 135 pounds than he did at 126 and 130. And Emmanuel, I think the early returns may be made a little bit more dramatic because of the absence of speed from the opponent. Is, if anything, he looks faster.
He looks faster, more natural, looks stronger. All the way down, much more devastating. Soon this fight's going to have to stop pretty soon. The referee's going to have to stop the fight.
Diaz gets in a good left uppercut of his own. Fires a straight jab, comes forward to make clear, I'm still a fighter, I'm not going to go away. But at this point, you worry about how badly is David Diaz going to get hurt by continuing to take punishment in a fight where he's not going to go down, not going to get knocked out. He blocked a lot of those shots. Sometimes the knockout is a merciful event.
Yes, because right now, even when Diaz throws punches, there's no power. He just pushing and stumbling and falling in. But there's no power. So it's just a matter of time before he gets knocked out, unless the referee or the corner stops the fight.
And if the kind of mercy that puts you on your back is not going to take place, then it's up to the referee and the medical supervisors at ringside to deliver mercy on their own.
Yeah, I think the referee's getting in position to stop the fight now. He's looking entirely strictly at his eye and his face. So he's getting in a position, his mind is functioning on stopping the fight now.
Increasingly on the defensive, Diaz has less and less to offer as the 8th round goes on. The crowd has gotten its money's worth. The crowd has seen the show they wanted to see. Manny Pacquiao has made his statement. There isn't much reason beyond a few moments like that for this to keep going forward. If ever you knew in advance that if things got bad, an opponent would be too brave for his own good, you knew it tonight.
Yeah, I think the corner should stop the fight. It would be a graceful way to end it, but it's over for all practical.
I'm good, man. I can still see.
Let me hear this. Let me close your eye. You can't punch from outside now, you hear me? Keep your hands beside your chin until you work your way in that way. Let him hit the gloves. But if you try to punch him outside, he's punching. Okay. Yeah, let him have one more chance.
Let's go. Yes, that's what they're talking about. Let's
The
go.
referee.
You got to pick it up. Move your head. You just move that Diaz real nice.
In and out, in and out.
CompuBox numbers show that from the 5th round on, David Diaz's punch output has been dropping. 65 punches thrown in the 5th, 57 in the 6th, 50 in the 7th, only 38 in the 8th. Surely a serious consideration must now be given to stopping the fight in the 9th if things continue the way they've been. I guess, given the accepted traditional ethic in the sport manual, if this were Pacquiao's title belt instead of Diaz's, it would have been stopped before now.
It probably would have. You know, because Diaz is going to keep coming all night long as they let him. But even when he punches, he's ineffective. He's not a knockout puncher, so he's not going to perform a one-punch miracle. It just how much more punch damage can he take before the fight eventually ends.
He's had his moment in the sun. He's got an $800,000 guarantee and the chance for pay-per-view benefits if the buy rate rises above a certain level. He got a lot of publicity before the fight saying, "I'm driving a 1991 Honda with no air conditioning." He's going to get a chance to buy a new car.
Well, he might end up with $1 million from these fights, which is a good paycheck. And he's did a good job. He's just not talented enough to compete on this level with the top fighters.
But he's brave enough to compete on any level. And he's proven that. Straight left hand shot for Pacquiao. Diaz falls into his arms. If the idea here is that there's some honor in allowing David Diaz to finish the fight, that would be a very misplaced instinct.
It's not worth it.
There's plenty of honor for Diaz tonight. It won't be in some way embellished by letting him go to a bloodier, more brutal finish. How many more? Down he goes, and Dracula stops the fight.
He should have never got to that.
Welcome to the lightweight division.
Manny Pacquiao was sensational tonight. He put on a clinic and it proved that he was much more than just a power puncher.
A flame of pure fire.
He did it all.
Incomparable in the sport. There's only one. Portrait of a superstar. Manny Pacquiao in bold relief. Floyd Mayweather retired from the sport a few weeks ago. It is expected that Oscar De La Hoya is going to retire by the end of this year. Where does the spotlight fall? Right here.
Here you see Pacquiao land a beautiful short left cross right over the shoulder. Diaz never even saw the punch.
Jab, left hand, good night. Merciful. Finally, the merciful knockout we were talking about.
Yes, it was. First class.
Right on the chin. Through 8 rounds, the 3 judges' scores were 80-71, 80-72, 80-71, totally academic. It was a bloodletting from about the 2nd round on. And if the question was, how good could Pacquiao look in his first fight as a lightweight? The answer is better than you might have believed. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we give the official time, a round of applause for a young man from Chicago with the heart of a lion, an Olympian and a world champion, David Diaz. Referee Vic Draculich calls a halt to this bout at 2 minutes, 24 seconds, round number 9. The winner by knockout victory, the fighting pride of the Philippines, now a 4-time world champion and new WBC lightweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao.
CompuBox numbers in this brilliant display. Pacquiao landing 140 more punches, throwing 325 more punches, landing at a highly efficient 30% despite a tight guard by Diaz, who kept his gloves up around his head for as long as he could.
But the problem was he was throwing so many different punches from so many different angles, so it was almost impossible for Diaz to protect himself.
Power punch numbers, Pacquiao landing 121 more, throwing 171 more, landing 37% of his power punches. Against some opponents, he'll do better than that. And joining us now at ringside, the new lightweight champion of the world. Manny, congratulations on a brilliant show in your first appearance at 135.
Thank you very much, and to all the people who's here tonight, thank you very much, all of you.
A question coming into the fight was, would moving up 5 pounds in weight in some way diminish your speed? Could you keep your power? By our lights, it appeared you were faster than ever and stronger than ever. Is that the way you felt?
Yeah, that's why what we train in this fight is speed and power. And I'm very comfortable in 135 pounds. I feel strong.
You cut him on the nose in the second round. You got a cut above the eye about a round or two after that. From that point forward, it was a bloody show. How difficult is it for you to keep going and keep thrashing an obviously outclassed opponent when you can see how badly hurt he is?
Well, I think Diaz is he is the toughest opponent that I had before, and then I'm very surprised that he cuts a lot of punches and he didn't knock down in the early rounds.
We've got a videotape look at the knockout. Would you like to admire your work a little bit? Let's take a look at the knockout, and you can take a look at the perfect combination. Tell us what you're doing here. Right jab, left hand.
Yeah, that's what our plan this fight. The left hand, you know, and then also the right hand. So I'm lucky tonight because I win by knockout. So thanks God for giving me that strength.
It's been a long time since you fought another southpaw, and it looked as though you were more able to use your brilliant right hand, that hook and the uppercut in this fight against a southpaw than even against conventional fighters. Did you know coming in that would be the case?
Well, I tell you the truth. It's hard to fight a southpaw, and that's why I'm not very confident in this fight. You know, I'm just up my defense and jab a lot. And I'm surprised in the ninth round, and I knock him out.
So Manny, there's been discussion of a possible third fight at this weight against Juan Manuel Marquez. There's been discussion by your trainer, Freddie Roach, standing right behind you, of maybe going up another 5 pounds and fighting Ricky Hatton. Which fight do you like?
Well, sir, my job is I'm just a fighter, and my job is to prepare in the ring and to fight. That's the promoter job, you know. I'm just a fighter to fight in the ring.
Do you want to fight as soon as November, or do you think it'll be past the end of the year?
Well, I can fight on November, so I'm getting prepared on that.
All right, and are you now the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world?
Well, thank you. Thanks God for giving me the blessings, and to all the people who love boxing to support me. Without you guys, I'm not here. So thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Manny, and congratulations on a great start in a new weight class. Let's turn now to the extremely brave young man who Manny vanquished here tonight. A moment of sportsmanship here. David, there was a moment between rounds toward the end of the fight when we heard you say to your trainer, Jim Strickland, I can handle his punches, he's just too fast. Was that basically the story of the fight?
Yeah, he was too fast. Fucking was too fast.
Did you have any idea coming in that he could be that way?
No. I seen him on tape and stuff like that, but I was like, I could do it with that speed, you know? The power is what I wanted to worry about. But it wasn't so much about, it was just that he was so fucking fast, man. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Fucking amazingly fast. I was like, I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So, you know. Hey, you know what, it happens. You go into the fight and you go in and you risk it. Or with a guy like this, Manny, shit, at least I say I fought a good fighter, man. And that's all I want. I want to fight. That's it, man.
You got cut on the nose, I think, in the first round. By the second or third round, the cut above your eye appeared. Obviously, Jimmy was trying to do everything he could to stop the cuts, but the blood kept coming. How much did that bother you during the fight?
No, it didn't bother me at all. I thought he had a knife with him, though. I thought he was cutting me up with a blade. But he was fast. He was faster than what I expected. I could deal with the power, but it's just his speed was more than what I thought it was. And I got tricked by his speed.
All right, Floyd Mayweather has retired. The argument is, who's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world now? Is it Pacquiao? Is it Joe Calzaghe? Is it maybe a rising superstar like Miguel Cotto? Off what you saw tonight, is there any real argument about this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, no, he's not. He just beat me, man. So, you know, he's good. He's fucking good. And my hats go off to him. We went in there and I fought and I gave it my all. And his speed was just the thing that sealed it for me. His speed was too uncontrollable, I mean. And my hat's off to him, and he's a good fighter, and, you know, what else can I say? I mean, we lost today, and tomorrow we'll win.
Aside from rooting for the Cubs to win the World Series and all of Chicago's other big possibilities right now, what's in your future?
Well, we're going to go back, relax, get into a hot shower, and then we'll take it there from there tomorrow and just see what happens. We're going to take a nice little break and just come back at it, man. I mean, I'm 32 years old. I'm getting up there, but I started back late. But, you know, I mean, to go with a guy like Manny Pacquiao, shit, I think I'm doing pretty good.
You heard him chanting, Manny, Manny, Manny. Do you think you got the respect of this crowd tonight?
I hope I did. You know what? Only time will tell. And that's just it. Only time will tell. If they like the way I fight, then fine. If they don't, then, you know, that's just it. They don't like the way I fight.
It was a brave show. Thank you very much, David.
Manny Pacquiao is an awesome person.
All right.